Mayor Adams unveils the city's annual management report, and we have the details. It's Wednesday, September 18th, and this is your New York Daily News. Wednesday's forecast calls for scattered showers in New York City with a high near 75 and a low near 68. Before today's top story, Chancellor David Banks shared his vision Tuesday for artificial intelligence in New York City public schools, including to measure student progress and personalize instruction in response. His early plans, outlined as part of an annual address on the state of the nation's largest school system, also called on using generative AI in college and career advising and making the school system more efficient. Apart from AI, the chancellor, who's been ensnared in a federal probe, tried Tuesday to turn the focus onto the schools themselves. As part of his vision, which was still being fleshed out, the chancellor said teachers could use AI to cater lessons to students with a range of abilities and compile information for teens about colleges, scholarships, and job certifications. Officials are also considering how to use AI to increase efficiency in school transportation, enrollment, and hiring. During the speech, Banks announced a third accelerated high school will open during the Adams administration next fall in Southeast Queens, HBCU Early College Prep. Find more on this story and the latest in New York news right now at nydailynews.com. Murders are down, but traffic deaths are up, and emergency teams are taking longer to respond to calls, according to the city's annual management report released Monday by Mayor Adams. The report on the 2024 fiscal year also found SNAP application time is improving, and minor summonses for things like public urinating and public drinking continue to skyrocket as the NYPD puts more officers on the streets and pays out record overtime. 558-page report mandated under the city charter includes troves of detailed data showing how every city agency measures up. Here's what you need to know about how the city is doing. Emergency response times were up with an average of 15 minutes and 23 seconds, up from around 14 minutes last year and about 11 minutes in fiscal year 2020. It now takes on average over 9 minutes to get a police response to the most serious crimes like shootings and assaults after calling 911. Most of this increase is driven by just 19% of precincts, each with major thoroughfare access points, the report says. The report pointed to an increased NYPD presence across several fronts. Enforcement of minor summonses like fare evasion and open container law violations have increased by 34% since last fiscal year, totaling 180,000, and by 210% since 3 years prior, before Adams took office. Summonses for drinking in parks and on stoops in particular rose by 13,000 since last year, and by a whopping nearly 57,000 since fiscal year 2021. Major felony crimes are slightly down since last year, largely driven by a 15% decrease in murders and an 18% decrease in shootings, but still up overall from pre-COVID. And grand larceny, auto, robbery, and felony crime in housing developments all increased from the year before. The stepped-up police presence across the city has come at a cost, with the NYPD paying out record overtime. This year, the number broke $1 billion for the first time. At the same time, civilian complaints against members of the NYPD have ticked upward every year in the Adams administration, this past year reaching 5,644. Total traffic fatalities have hit their highest since pre-COVID, with 275 deaths in fiscal year 2024. According to the report, the increase was driven by a 53% uptick in moped deaths, with bicyclist fatalities, including e-bikes, down this year. The Department of Transportation also added 64 miles of bike lanes, 33 miles of which were protected. Housing showed modest signs of improvement, with the number of new affordable projects reached over 25,200, 1,000 more than the year prior. And finally, a sanitation task force aimed at cleaning unkempt city properties across the 5 boroughs cleaned 30% more locations than the last fiscal year, and the Parks Department planted over 42,000 trees, up from 31,000 last year. For more on this story and for the latest in New York City politics, visit nydailynews.com and follow us on social media at nydailynews. Thanks for listening. My name is Imran Sheikh.
SpokenLayer.